when I was walking into that game, seeing all that feminine orange all over Ohio Stadium. I mean, it was just disgusting.
It almost felt like a movie script, to be honest with you. Like everybody was against us, even our home team. We don't even feel like the home team because the away teams invaded our territory. Like kind of like a movie script almost. I felt like.
I'm a believer that this team's going to win the national championships. The rivalries, it's up there on top of the list, man. And if we allow them to devalue it, we lose a lot of what makes college football special. Don't let them do it. Don't let them devalue what it means to you. Hey, welcome to Juck on Bucks. Appreciate you so much for joining me on a Friday. We've had a fantastic week here at the show. I've loved every show we've done. We've also had a little uptick in viewership and a big uptick on the audio side. So I appreciate those of you checking us out in podcast form and the new YouTube viewers. If you don't mind, if you like the show, please consider subscribing to the show. Helps me out, helps get the show out to other Buckeye fans, and it just helps you find the show easier. So if you could do that for me, as well as liking the show, and even those of you who are already subscribed, you can do that too. Like today's show for me. That'd be awesome. But spring practice wrapping up tomorrow at Ohio Stadium with the spring game, which is practice number 15 out of 15 of the spring period. Entering the spring here on the show, we took stock for a couple of weeks, went through every single position group. Next week, we start taking stock of every single position group heading out. What's changed? What have we learned? What are we looking forward to? And from Wednesday of next, or from the end of the spring game until Wednesday next week, will be a lot of meetings between the staff and the players as Wednesday opens the portal. And that portal will stay open from Wednesday the 16th until the 25th. So 9 days the portal will be open, and hopefully no Buckeyes enter. But we'll be on high alert for who enters from other places and who could potentially join the team. Who's going to come in? We don't know. We don't know if they're going to go after anybody. Last year, as far as losing guys, I was thinking back, and I can't find, I probably could find it, but I'm just thinking, I'm not going to go look for it, but I think we just lost Dallin Hayden. Dallin Hayden was definitely in the spring last year. We might have lost Sam Hunt in the spring as well, but I think him too. Maybe those two, but definitely Dallin Hayden was maybe the only player who I would say of consequence. It was kind of a rude way to put it, but a guy that could potentially be a contributor on the team. So I think that's it. And I feel like this spring will be similar as far as players lost. Maybe you lose a guy like a Dallin Hayden. Maybe you don't lose anybody. Either way, Ohio State's been fantastic at holding on to guys that, they see as eventual contributors. Maybe better than anybody in the country that play at this profile of college football, I think. But as we enter the spring game tomorrow, what are you hoping to see? What are you looking forward to? What I like to see out of the spring game is kind of confirmation of the guys that we are hearing that are having excellent springs. I want to see it in the game on the big stage. Some guys that we've been told through listening to coaches' press conferences, through players' press conferences, and the few limited media availabilities that they've seen, guys that have had really good springs. Obviously, we've definitely got sophomore linebacker Peyton Pierce. Pierce has been praised by Matt Patricia, James Laurinaitis, Ryan Day. James Laurinaitis said he's going to play a ton of football this year. Makes you feel like he's really cemented himself kind of standing alone as that number 3 linebacker on the team. We know that he can play Will. He played it last year. We know that he can play Mike. He's played that this year. Sam, he knows front and back, and now he's learning other positions. So I would love to see him make a couple of plays at the shoe on Saturday. Devin Sanchez, future superstar freshman cornerback. Cannot wait to see him out in the uniform, moving around amongst his peers. I've not seen it yet in person. That'll be really exciting for me. Bryce West. Bryce West has had a fantastic spring, we're told, competing with Lorenzo Styles at nickel. Does he actually have a shot to pass Lorenzo Styles in the fall? I think he just might. Be fun to see him have a good one. But running back Bo Jackson, when we hear people talk about him, it's been pretty sensational. Great reviews coming back for freshman running back Bo Jackson, who has the physicality. The size is already there. He came in ready to play physically. He's got the right mental approach, and he's got a different gear than a guy like C.J. Donaldson. Though I'm also interested to see C.J. Donaldson, who came in weighing about 240, now down to 225. And at 6'2", he's a big load of a back. So be fun to see him as well. Freshman wide receiver Quincy Porter, the first one to lose his black stripe. Wide receiver out of New Jersey. Jeremiah Smith called him the next one. And Ryan Day said he's going to see some playing time this year, which I believe. Aaron Scott, second-year guy, cornerback out of Springfield, who was a 5-star guy. Our buddy Dylan said, don't overlook him at corner. Said he looked really good at the student appreciation practice. And Aaron seems to have a chip on his shoulder. He seems to see everybody giving love to Devin, and it's motivating him a little more, which you like to see. But most importantly for me, and I won't get to see this until I get home and get to rewind and watch and rewind, guys like Jason Moore, Tywan Malone, and I think most especially Will Smith Jr., because he's the one that the media has been talking about. However, I've not heard the coaches talk about him a lot. He's only 288 pounds, and he is apparently the number 2 nose guard on the team. Freshman Jarquez Carter, I want to see if he's the guy that I think he is, because if we don't see much difference from those guys in freshman Jarquez Carter, it would seem to me like he might have an opportunity to start working past them in the fall. I think he's going to push him, and I'm really excited to see him out there in the scarlet and gray, because we've not heard much out of him. And I don't know. We've not heard much out of the defensive line, period, other than Ryan Day saying they're not consistent enough. They're not there yet the way we need them to be. But Larry spoke, and Larry, he doesn't come off much information. CJ Hicks, who's a guy that I will be rooting for, despite those of you in the comments saying that I hate CJ Hicks. I certainly do not. I hate the hype. I've said that every time. I think CJ Hicks is a great young kid. I hate the undeserved, unwarranted hype. For instance, here's a quote from an article just today. Quote, even with the quarterbacks in non-contact jerseys Saturday, Hicks will have a shot to wow the crowd at the Horseshoe and get the hype for his senior season started. Are you kidding me? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's the hype that I can't stand. It's unwarranted, it's undeserved, and kind of illogical, but we're not getting into that today. We'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong and you guys can all make fun of me. Fahim Delane, really looking forward to seeing him this year. I think this one's been kept kind of quiet, but he is definitely looking really good. And of course, Jalen McClain and Malik Hartford at safety. The linebackers, how about the freshman trio of Riley Pettijohn, TJ Alford, Eli Lee? Cannot wait to see those guys out there. And as far as the other freshmen, the wide receivers, Phillip Bell, who's been making plays, BP Miller, who I don't think he's making plays yet, but I want to see him out there running around with his peers because he's a freaky athlete. Bryson Rodgers, third-year wide receiver. Mylan Graham, second-year wide receiver. Those two kind of fighting to be that next guy up, and that's going to be really exciting to see those guys. Apparently, Max Clare has been kind of showing out in practice, showing off his blocking ability as well. I want to see him. And I know the spring game does not mean a ton in terms of this quarterback battle, but I do want to see if either of these guys can seize the moment in front of what should be a pretty packed house with the pressure on. There's a little bit of pressure there. Neither of them did great with that pressure last year in the spring game. So, not going to mean a ton, but if we come out of that and one guy looked really good and the other guy didn't, it's going to be talked about quite a bit for quite a long time because there's not much going on. The worst thing that can happen for them is for Tavian St. Clair to look better than both of them, which we know can happen in a spring game, right? But that would be a whole lot of talk about Tavian St. Clair and those guys not looking good for quite a long time. And let's be honest, doing a show 5 times a week in an off season like I do, not always the easiest to think of things to talk about. If Tavian St. Clair gives me that gift of looking better than both of them, I would appreciate it. But those are the things I'm looking for to varying degrees. A couple of things that I am looking forward to or curious to see about. And I'll be interested what you guys have to add to that list. But I'll be at the game afterwards. I'm going to be driving home. When I get home, we're going to do a post-game show on Saturday night. Not sure what time that's going to be. I'll probably get home at, 4, maybe 7:30. So it'll be a nighttime show. It'll be like 8:30 or so. I'll eat, and then we'll probably pop on here and do a post game show, talk about the day. So you guys, you'll have time to watch the other post game shows, and then join me around 8:30 or 9 here, if you want to. It's a Saturday night. I know maybe you got plans, but I'll pop on here anyway at 8:30. So we'll definitely do that. Then Sunday, going to the Elite 11, which not just quarterbacks at this Elite 11 regional, going to be defensive linemen, wide receivers. Everybody's going to be there, even linemen working out. So not allowed to share the roster, apparently. I wasn't supposed to say Brady Edmonds was going to be there, or RJ Day and Ryan Day and Nathan Bernhard. Wasn't supposed to say all that in yesterday's show. Yeah, I didn't know. Am I supposed to read the whole thing? Like it's a whole list of things you're supposed to do. But I will talk to Brady Edmonds. I talked to Brady, so he's going to talk to me after the Elite 11. He's going to be at the spring game as well. So we'll probably talk about the spring game is what we'll talk about. But no show on Sunday. Sunday, I'll be working on a recap of the Elite 11, depending on the prospects that are there. I think there's going to be some in the Buckeyes wheelhouse, and we might have some interesting footage to show from that as well. So now, the Buckeyes have won the national championship, and I just want to take you back for a second to what I feel, looking back, is one of the most interesting time periods as an Ohio State football fan that any of us have had in our lives. So the game ends at the shoe, the game, fight breaks out on the field. And after a few minutes, camera pans to Ryan Day, who looks kind of catatonic. And you see a player walk past him, and he asks the player what happened. And he's just kind of frozen in the moment. Can't believe what's currently happening on the field. Can't believe what just happened in the game. Remember, the week prior, he had talked about the pain of losing that game being some of the worst pain he's ever, worse than almost anything in his life. Referenced losing his father in the same sentence. He said, like, aside from that and maybe a couple other things, nothing else has been as bad as losing that game. And he came in with supreme confidence, and he was just stunned that he lost the game. And in that day and in the ensuing weeks, I was on here every day. And I think that because of social media has just magnified so much of what people are feeling in general. It puts it out in the forefront so much that it made that time period from the end of that game to the Tennessee game the most negative, just pessimistic, kind of just gross feeling time that I've ever experienced. Even more so than in the Cooper era when big games were lost. Because when you look at that time period, you talk to your friends, you talk to your family, you read the newspaper, and you maybe talk to people in your neighbors, your coworkers, listen to some talk radio when you could catch some Buckeyes talk radio, which wasn't a ton for us up here in Northeast Ohio. But now you can watch 20 different Ohio State podcasts a day. You can you can search Twitter and see the opinions of 1,000 other Ohio State fans every 5 minutes. It's just magnified the reaction, good and bad, so much. I also think it's added with so much more communication with the other side of things, which makes it even worse to get your face rubbed in it. And to me, what was just unbelievable throughout that period was just coming from the outside. There were people saying Ryan Day should be fired. And that was coming from like national media folks. And then when they heard that Ohio State fans were actually saying that, they changed from attacking Ryan Day to then attacking Ohio State fan base. Like, they came after the Ohio State fan base only after they came after Ryan Day and realized Ohio State fans agreed with them. And then it was, all right, we're going to shift our focus to these people. And in the polls and things I saw, it was pretty close to 50% who were either of the opinion of Ryan Day should be fired, or if Ryan Day doesn't win the national championship, he should be fired. The other 50% were saying, no, I don't think so. And then you had 50% in the fired, or if doesn't win national championship, fired. And those were polls of us, diehard folks. I don't really know what the casual Ohio State fan was thinking, nor do I really care. But That's kind of what was going on. And that was the state of affairs that we lived in from the end of the Michigan game, leading up to the Tennessee game. And then heading into that Tennessee game, you had all those Tennessee fans, those big mouth Tennessee fans who had not experienced good football from their program in so long. They've finally made this huge game. They're trying to engage with us. We're not really engaging because we're just not excited about playing them. But to them, it was a massive deal. And it was so huge that they were saying they're going to come up with 30,000 fans. They renamed Ohio Stadium Neyland North on Apple Maps. They were sending out maps of what they were going to do with the goalposts when they won, talking all sorts of crap. And when they started this, I was just like, okay, like I wasn't planning on going to the game. I was planning on calling the game live like I did the Notre Dame game and the Texas game. And I changed my mind and said, I got to go to this game. It just felt like a call to action. I'm going to go take up a seat that one of those idiots can't sit in because they were trying to clown us. And I talked a couple people into going, which I was pretty proud of. But I went to the game, and walking up to that game was the most surreal moment I've ever seen in my sports fandom. So many of these Tennessee fans in Tennessee tents, as I'm walking up to the rotunda, they're just everywhere. And on the outside, it looked like they outnumbered us. No doubt about it. Wasn't like that on the inside, though. There were plenty of them. And they were loud and they were obnoxious. And what the Buckeyes gave us that night was the most cathartic win ever. I mean, it was just so, the whole stink of everything that led up to that game. All those idiots in there adding to it and compounding it. The anger that we all felt and the performance that they put on that night. The Buckeye fans in attendance were treated to, I think, it was maybe top 2 game of my life. It was electric. Nobody sat the whole game. It was the most amazing shot in the arm of adrenaline and joy and optimism. And it was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It was a time I'll never forget. I think that period right there, that I think was 3 weeks, 3-week period between the end of the game to Tennessee and those 2 games capping the start and the finish, unbelievable. Now, I sat down with Bryson Rodgers, Ohio State wide receiver, in his 3rd year, and I believe he's going to contribute quite a bit. He had the 5th most snaps last year of any wide receiver with 150 snaps. And I brought this time period up, and I wanted to discuss this with him from a player's perspective. Obviously, he heard everything that was going on during that period. Then he ran out of the tunnel and saw all those Tennessee folks. What did he think? How was that? We talked about several other things. He wasn't a 5-star coming out of high school, ended up at Ohio State, had the trifecta of Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State offers, which usually tells you something. I think his style is so unique. I think he's got a ton of talent. And I wanted to have him on for the next guest for 10 Questions with Juck, which we did. And now let's welcome in Bryson Rodgers to the show. You will not want to miss this one. And joining us now for 10 Questions with Juck, Ohio State wide receiver Bryson Rodgers. Bryson, thanks so much for joining us, buddy.
Absolutely, Juck. I appreciate you and your time. Let's do it.
Hey, I want to start by congratulating you on the national championship season and thanking you for being part of, for us, the fans, one of the most magical seasons that we have ever witnessed.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all to the most. Go Bucks.
Absolutely. Go Bucks. Bryson, you are out of Zephyr Hills High School, out of the Tampa area in Florida. And coming out of high school, you had what I call the holy trinity of offers: Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, the 3 schools that recruit at the highest, the best of the best every year. When you get those offers, you're the elite of the elite, no matter what recruiting services say. But one of those schools obviously stuck out to you the most, not just because you're a wide receiver and it's Ohio State, but because you are a loyal son of the great state of Ohio, a 330 guy like me. I don't think many people know that. Take us through the journey from Ohio to Tampa, back to Ohio.
Yeah, so like you said, 330 guy, born in Warren, Ohio, Youngstown area. For those who don't know where Warren is at, Buckeye legends all over the place from Warren. Some guys from Warren. So I mean, coming up from a city like that, that's kind of the standard to really be a guy, in the sports world. So my family was kind of deep into the game with football. I got introduced at a young age, 3, 4 years old, but played most of my young career in Tampa. Like you said, I was in Tampa, played most of my youth career there. Just was touching the ball and catching fluently at 3, 4 years old. I tell people all the time. So receiver was always just a natural position for me, what I ended up being good at. So I just ran with it throughout my youth career, ran with it my middle school, high school. Was an athlete, but mainly being a receiver, and just really fell in love with the game, and just fell in love with the art of being a receiver. I watched guys like Jerry Rice and Michael Irvin and Chris Carter, and the guys that my dad kind of grew up on watching. He introduced me to those type of guys, and even in my childhood, looking up to guys like Odell Beckham and guys like that. So I got the best of both worlds, and I really just understood the game and really understood the art of playing receiver, like how it started and how it really is now. So I got to see the pretty much the whole evolution, the whole game evolve around the game, and it was really cool. And I think it helped my game to where I am at now, just really understanding the X's O's even more, and just understanding how beautiful the art of playing receiver is. And now I'm back in Columbus, Ohio, doing it in front of my family, doing it for my friends, and it's a wholesome moment for sure.
Bryson, I talk about it often, but it is so the evolution of wide receiver play. Like when we see guys from when I was your age to now coming out of high school into college, it is night and day. Like you
Mhm.
guys are so ready at such a young age now. But so you're going through your recruiting process. Eventually, you commit to Ohio State when Brian Hartline asks you, "What are you waiting for?" Which I thought was a hilarious story. I've heard you tell that before. You didn't know what you were waiting for. So you jump in, and your class ends up becoming like a normal Brian Hartline class at the time with Brandon Innes, Carnell Tate, Noah Rogers, and you, totally loaded. The Ohio State wide receiver room under Brian Hartline, I think as college football fans, we're going to be talking about like decades from now, the run of success under one position coach at one position. It's just insane. Why do
Absolutely.
you choose ultimately to put yourself in a position like that where there's a lot of great schools? You probably had a much clearer path at a younger age to playing time laid
Yeah.
out in front of you. Why stick with Ohio State? Because you've had ups and downs, but you've stayed all along. You've stayed true. And what makes you go and want to take on the best of the best to play there?
I think just how you said, when I was like going through the process, and I was that was really my mindset at the beginning. Like, okay, where's the fastest place I'm gonna play at? It's kind of the mindset I was in, because I felt like I was a lead guy and could change the program pretty early. And so that's pretty much was my thinking throughout the recruitment process. But towards the back end, as I got older and I got deeper into it, having talks with Coach Harline about what it really meant to be developed and to really come into your final form, and you're far from your final form without even knowing at times, because you think you're so good, you've been preached for so long, you got 50 offers coming out of high school, 4 or 5 star recruits. So I mean, you're going through it all, and you think you're at the top of the crowd, but really you just have so much work still to do. So pretty much, that's where I was thinking at when I first started the recruiting process. Where can I play at? Where can I play at? Where can I play at? Looking at depth charts, looking at rooms, and to be honest, a place that stuck out just for the time being was Alabama, just with the guys that they had leaving and how I could come in and make an impact, the established relationship I had with Coach Saban, and just everything that was going on. And mainly my recruitment was leading to University of Florida or University of Alabama, and they were like pretty much out on the top for a long time. And then Coach Harline ended up offering me later. I still remember to this day, Ohio State was my 33rd offer. And so it was back into my recruitment very late. But they made a great first impression, man. And they really just left a mark on me and my family when we came up. And that's when I came back for my second visit to lock it in at the spring game on Easter Day. That was a special moment for me as well. And it just showed it was God's timing, and it just showed it was my place and my time to be here. And it was definitely an interesting process, and my mindset throughout it all changed so much as I went from where can I play at to now I'm gonna go into a loaded room with much of first round talents and elite guys, best of the best type of guys every day. But I truly felt I was one of those guys as well. So I took on the challenge straight up head first, and now I'm here now.
and we're so happy to have you. And I want to get into a little bit of you and coming up in this season. But first, I want to go back a little bit to last year. You know, I think that last year I consider to be one of the more interesting periods ever in Ohio State history. After the Michigan loss, which was obviously a huge loss, taken very poorly by the fan base, I'm sure by you guys. A lot of the fans compounding it with other Michigan losses, doubting Coach Day, a whole lot. And I can tell you, as a 45-year-old Buckeye fan, I lived through the John Cooper era. Social media wasn't around, man. Like it was nothing as magnified as this period was. It was one of the worst, most negative periods ever. And leading into that Tennessee game, despite the fact that we're hosting a playoff game for the first time ever, it felt like one of the lowest, most pessimistic periods of my life as an Ohio State football fan. It really did. And it might be amplified because I'm doing the show every day. But also, ironically, it kind of shows how good we got it that we were heading into a playoff game and that was kind of the mood. But it was bad, Bryson. And obviously, you guys were mad, I'm sure. Many of us were mad. We deal with those Michigan fans every day, got to listen to them chirp. But how much of that outside noise did you hear? What was your reaction to it heading into that period?
Pretty much coming off that loss and just going into that game, we know the standard's the standard, and I think we know that at all times is to beat the team up north, win the Big Ten championship, and ultimately the end goal, win the national championship. So, knowing coming in, we had that standard. I mean, it hurt. It hurt the guys. It hurt the guys closely, but I feel like, and I say it a lot of times in my interviews, guys like Travion Henderson and Mecca Ibuka, the guys that were just truly our leaders in our locker room, gelled us together. Kept our faith in God and just kept us pushing forward and really had us. We were more eager to play than ever that we were all season, any game, even when going in that top 1 and 2 matchup in Eugene. Of course, we were hyped to play, but it's early in the season. Stakes are not that high. So I mean, it was a different feeling. But going into that Tennessee game, I felt, and I know our team felt it, or just a type of bullseye, and a type of edge on our back and our shoulder, and we played with it, and that's how we should have played all year, honestly. But it would have been way more entertaining for Buckeyes fans, and they would have not really said the things they said if we played like that. But we, at the end of the day, we know that's the standard, and that's what we have to play with, that type of fire all the time. And once we do, people see the run we went on with Tennessee, with Oregon, with Texas, and with Notre Dame at the end, ultimately reaching our final goal. Just the type of football we can play when the Buckeyes are locked in and we have that certain type of fire. So to me personally, I felt like we needed it. I felt like during the back end of our season, our season was kind of dead. The locker room was kind of dead. And I think going into that game was kind of a trap game for us. Just seeing that period of time, a close game with Nebraska, just hitting that back end of that schedule before you play one of the biggest games of the year, if not the biggest. So I think it's what we needed, and I think it's what we needed to hear the fans as well. We needed to see the media. We needed that to motivate us because I feel like as an athlete, that's one of the biggest motivations when you have the chance to prove somebody right or prove somebody wrong every day. And the media portrays an image; they believe what they want to believe, and you go out there and you either prove them right, or you prove them wrong. Once you prove them right, they're gonna be right back on your side anyway. So you just got to keep that consistency, and just keep that type of level-headed mindset.
Bryson, I went to that Tennessee game, and I got to tell you, leading into that game, obviously the Tennessee folks had been chirping. They renamed the stadium Neyland North on Apple Maps. It was really making a lot of us mad. They're a very delusional, loud, big fan base, and all due respect to them, they did what they said. They showed up in droves. It felt like an invading force, and I was so mad when I was walking into that game, seeing all that feminine orange all over Ohio Stadium. I mean, it was just disgusting. But when you come out of that tunnel
Yeah.
and you see that, which none of us have ever seen at Ohio Stadium, are you feeling some type of way? Are you feeling disrespected? Are you feeling let down? Like, what is the vibe when you're seeing all these opposing fans at Ohio Stadium?
Oh yeah. So coming out to that game, how you said out the tunnel, it was a crazy experience. It caught me by surprise. A lot of people talk, they say what they're gonna do. Sounds good on the internet, cool, but they made it happen. Like they said, they were gonna come in, they're gonna pack out half the stadium, and they were right by our tunnel when we came out. And I was talking a lot of shit. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not talking a lot because I just knew that confidence I had in my teammates and I had in my brothers. So and what we were gonna do. So like. I didn't let it distract us. I fed into the energy. I played in the. It almost felt like a movie script, to be honest with you. Like everybody was against us, even our home team. We don't even feel like the home team because the away teams invaded our territory. Like kind of like a movie script almost. I felt like. And I just had extreme confidence in our coaching staff and our team that I fed right into it. I was talking our talk and we backed it up. And even with their players coming out with the no shirts on and everything, that was all cute until the game started. You know, we jumped out on them early and they quit by second quarter. So I mean, all that other antics is cool, but I think when you back it up and you really, portray that different image and you really just do about what you're about to do about, it's just different. And that was a different feeling for us when we had enemies coming to our territory, our own stadium, and kind of feel disrespected. That kind of, I think, even fueled us even more going on into the playoffs and keep doing what we're doing and brought us tighter and tighter. So it was definitely never to forget atmosphere in Ohio Stadium. I feel like personally that's been one of my favorite games of my career here and the years I've been here, just because the energy was different, the fans were into it. It almost felt like I said, it almost felt like a movie script. Like it was real passion, real energy, and you could feel that from the first time you get on the field. Like I remember me and JJ lined up next to each other, and we're trying to tell each other to play because it's so loud in the stadium, even when we're on offense, and that's usually a reverse role when you're on offense, the quiet crowd more, and you get the ability to communicate more. But just how loud and hostile that environment was, man, it was amazing. I loved every minute of it.
They did great, the Tennessee fans for sure. But I got to say, Bryson, like I've been to a lot of Ohio State games, and I'm not just saying this now, revisionist history. I said it after that game. One of my very favorite games I've ever been to because the Ohio State crowd, because there was so many of them, was
Mhm.
just on a different level that night. Like, even though we were lower in numbers than usual, it felt like the most lit it had ever been in there. It was just electric, and I loved it.
100%. 100%.
So
100%.
after that total domination at Tennessee, you guys head out to the Rose Bowl. I'd never been to the Rose Bowl. I thought, all right, if I'm going to go to a Rose Bowl ever, this is the time. So I go out to the Rose Bowl, and I had heard you not too long ago talk about the first meeting with Oregon at Autzen Stadium, and you had said that you guys had extreme confidence heading out there. You
Hmm.
guys go out there, a nail biter game, an awesome game, instant classic, and you lose at their place. Obviously, let down, but the stakes weren't huge. You knew you'd probably get another shot. After that Tennessee game, though, the way you performed at Tennessee, where it just felt like, okay, that's the team we all thought we'd see all year. There they are. What kind of confidence are you leading into the Rose Bowl with? Is it feeling the same as that first game against Oregon? Is it a little different? What's the vibe like? More serious?
I think it was more serious. I think it was more business. When we were out there, I just felt a locked in demeanor from everybody. Our walkthroughs, our practices, our meetings were very intentional. I feel like we didn't waste no time, and we came with a chip on our shoulder, just like coming to really prove ourselves once again that that team was not that much better than us, and we knew what it was schematically, what they're doing. It's just man on man, one on one, win your matchup, and let's get this win, and that's what it ultimately came down to. And we knew after the first time we played them, we ever like we as guys in the locker room, we see them again. It's our game, and we wanted to come out like how we came out, very fast, very very quick, jump on them quick, and see what they do. I feel like the times we play less passive and trying to like let a team hang around, I feel like is when we kind of get into them scuffles in them games we really don't want to be in. But when we jump out early and we put it on somebody and they're already playing the Buckeyes, it hits you a lot at one time. You feel like you're playing catch up against the Buckeyes. I feel like it's a bad deal for your team. So I think that's exactly what we did. We came out firing when we took shots. First play was a shot, explosive play. We took shots, went for the end zone, had good rotation throughout offense and defensively, used all our players effectively, and it was another blowout winning California. And just that environment, like you said, the Rose Bowl, it brought an extra juice to us. Like a lot of us guys haven't been there, and that's a once in a lifetime experience playing in the type of atmosphere. So we were pumped for it. We were out in California. We loved the vibes. We loved the energy. And then once we stepped on the field and saw that stadium, we were like, yeah, it's really go time, and we're about to do something special today.
Did you let any all right, so after that game, it's like, okay, the Buckeyes are cooking. And like I said, like a lot of us are now feeling, all right, this is the juggernaut we expected. We thought we were going to win the national championship. A lot of us called it right at the beginning of the year. Um, are you getting kind of like, are you looking forward a little bit to that? Or are you still doing the look, we're stacking one day at a time thing? Or like, are you doing it that way? Or are you kind of looking forward, like we're about to win this thing?
I think as a team, our mindset was one game at a time, more stacked one by one, and that's what we really came into the CFP with, just one game at a time. What are you willing to do to play one more game with your brother? This last when's going to be our last game together? And we wanted that to be no less than the ultimate goal, which was the national championship. So I feel like with that type of mindset we put ourselves into as a team, it ultimately made everybody play so much harder and play with so much grit and so much passion that we had an extreme level of confidence to go in, and it didn't matter who we played. We knew who we were and we knew what we were capable of and what we could do, and we weren't being denied of our ultimate goal. And I felt like just game by game by game, we gained more momentum, we gained more confidence in each other, and we just were playing fierce. It was very fierce, very not scared to lose, and we were just playing like how we know how to play football, how we play football our whole life. And it was just, it was truly like amazing to see how much our team changed from in season to the CFP, and just how much of just passion we played with. It was incredible. And when we did that, I mean, everybody else saw the outcome, and that's the team. That's the Buckeyes. That's the team everybody wanted to see.
Bryson, that mantra, fighting for one more opportunity to play with your brothers, is something that I think is going to be copied by everybody else moving forward in the playoff. It was so effective. It was so inspiring. Like it inspired all of us watching that coming out. Like that was just like, wow, you've got it right now. Like that's perfect. 120 guys or so on a college football team. And I think a lot of times when we think about a college football team, we think of all the starters or buddies or whatever. But yeah, you're friends with everybody, but there's groups. Who are your closest friends on the team? Like who are your guys?
My
My
guys,
guys,
definitely in the
definitely in the
receiver
receiver
room.
room,
JJ,
JJ,
Cardinal
Cardinal
Tate,
Tate,
Brandon
Brandon
Ennis,
Ennis,
um,
my
a
a
guy
guy
named
named
Nolan
Nolan
Botto. He's
Botto.
a
He's a
walk
walk
on. He's
on. He's
doing
doing
signals and
signals and
stuff
stuff
for
for
us
us
this
this
year.
year.
He's the
He's the
glue
glue
guy to
guy
our
to our
room.
room,
And
and
Love that.
yeah,
yeah,
and
and
guys
guys
like
like
that,
that,
people don't
people don't
understand how
understand how
much of an
much of an
impact
impact
they
they
truly
truly
are.
are.
Like
Like
they
they
might think,
might
well,
think,
he's a walk on. He's just taking up space, and we could recruit better guys. Well, nah, we got guys like that really glue our rooms together, that make us even more closer, that make us play even more harder for each other. So shout out to my guy Nolan Botto for sure. He's definitely a glue piece to our whole team. Everybody loves him, and that's like everybody loves his energy, his passion, and even though he doesn't really impact as much as us on the field as a player, he has an incredible impact in the locker room. Just when we're out together doing stuff, just has a certain energy to him that is contagious and everybody loves, and it makes our team better. So he's definitely a piece and somebody I'm close to. Um, Jermaine Matthews, another dude. Jelani Thurman, them two guys been my guys since day one, since I stepped on campus, living up at the dorms. I mean, we used to kick it every day. Those are my day one guys, and I say those guys are probably the closest. But I'm pretty cool with everybody as well. Like I'm co-parent and get along with everybody, and it's always all love throughout, no matter what position you play on the team or who you are.
Love that story about Nolan. I'm glad I asked that question.
Yes.
I stumbled on your YouTube page a while back, and there are some clips on a YouTube page. It was your buddy who was shooting it, and he released the clips, but you're kind of the star of the show. And in some of those clips, you guys are at the Woody, you're running routes, catching balls. And when you see players in the same position going back to back to back in drills, running the same drill 100%, you can kind of spot differences in athletic ability where some guys excel, where some guys don't. At least for me, I find that to be the easiest way. But when I see you with your peers doing that, um, like this show has been a Bryson Rodgers show, right? Like I think that you got some special skills. You just move a little different. How would you describe your skill set? Because when you were coming out of high school, I don't know if you ever knew this, but one of the funniest things I've ever seen is you just move interesting. Like you're just a different type of talent. And I heard it described as rubber band joints. That's in one of your profiles coming out of high school, which I had never heard anybody use that. And when you read it, like it makes sense, but I would never use those words to describe it. So how do you describe yourself as a receiver? What do you excel at? What have you improved at the most since you've been at Ohio State?
To start, I want to start with what I improved at. I think is just the knowledge of the game, understanding defense, understanding why, what, how, and why I'm doing certain concepts, certain routes, and just schematically what I'm doing. And I feel like the X's of the O's and just the knowledge of a football player has been the biggest growth of my game. And then just being more physical and on the perimeter and blocking as well is what Coach Dan, Coach Hart been preaching for me to get more advanced on because most of my scheme in high school was RPO, a lot of RPO stuff. So I wasn't on the perimeter as much. I mean, I had flashes and stuff. I worked it. You got to block to get the rock. My receiver trainer always told me that. Shout out Coach P. But yeah, I mean, I think those have been my biggest improvements since being here. Just understanding the game of football and learning every day. And with Coach Hartline, man, he's a mastermind with this stuff. He said some terms and terminology I never knew of or could think of coming out of high school, and now that he's training my tools like an NFL guy. And now that he just told us the other day, like the Chris Carter was in our room during our meetings, and like the questions he asked us and the terminology he uses, he was like, "Hart, I really like enjoyed listening to y'all talk. Y'all talk like NFL guys." So just knowing that, and I'm getting prepared at that type of level to be an NFL guy, which I ultimately want to be. I think that's the biggest improvement I've seen in my game. How to describe my game? I've been trying to do this for a long time. It's like you said. I play different. I move different. I don't know. The rubber band joints thing is crazy. I've had people say that. Like I've had a couple of people say that. Um, I think it's just a mixture of me like being very fast, elusive, and quick in what I do, but like with the route running, it's very precise, it's very sharp, but how fast I'm doing it, I think is what makes it so different. You see guys that route run, they got to slow their speed down, but I can almost top speed my speed cuts. I can almost top speed my rocker steps. I can almost top speed my secondary releases. So I feel like just the speed I play at is hard to match in itself when you got a guy that's moving at 22, 23 miles an hour, but is very precise and a very technician with the routes. I feel like it's a very hard cover for any team or any secondary that I face. And just to mix that with the yak ability when the ball's in my hands, I feel like I'm elusive as well. And I had that more running back background when I was in Little League as well. So, I mean, I grew up with the ball in my hands. So I feel like that helps as well. But yeah, it's hard to describe what type of player I am. I don't know. Like, I try to compare myself, like, who's my NFL comparison? Like, I really don't see one. Like, it's hard to make myself like an NFL comp. But, like, I just think it's the mixture of just how precise the routes are, how sharp it is, how good my timing is at the speed I'm doing it, and I can go all day. Like I think the rubber band joint thing fits me because I can do it all day. I can do it for 4 quarters, and then I could probably wake up and do it the next day again. Just because like how I was trained in high school. Shout out to my trainer Danny D'Lo. We worked so much bend, we worked so much recovery, we worked so much knees and ankle support and strength that now when I'm at this level and that's the stuff I depend on every day, like I can do it day in, day out consistently without damaging my body. And I just think me being so much more fresher than my opponent as well, I'm more at like 95, 100% almost all the time to compared to 80, 90%. It's just moving different. So I feel like that also gives me advantage as well, just how much when I was a younger guy and a skinnier guy, just training my body to really form into my body with the ankle strength and the knee strength and just everything that I used to do with D'Lo just really helped me. And then also just too like is a lot of advice I get to these high school guys is like stick with the same trainer throughout your whole process. I see guys like bouncing trainers and stuff. You learn different techniques. You can't really get into your body. You can't really move how you want to move when you're going to so many different guys and they're teaching different techniques and different drills. I've been with the same guy since sixth grade. Shout out Dante Peterson. That's been my receiver coach and trainer since sixth grade, and it just really taught me the fundamentals of the game first. Like we used to go into sessions, tennis balls only. I wouldn't touch a football the whole session. Just tennis balls, cones, things were pointing in the ground, sticks were pointing in the ground. Just really learning the art of the game before even catching, and really getting the concentration part of catching tennis balls before catching a football, for it can make the football part so much easier. It's just really giving me we call them the cheat codes to the game, and I feel like every time I step on the field, I have the ability to use my cheat codes that I've trusted my training every time. I trusted my training and preparation every time I step on the field, and I never shy away from that. And it's very like how Kobe was. I use Kobe as an example. He was very in love with the fundamentals and the basics, and I feel like I'm the same way. That I fell in love with the basics and the fundamentals, and I enhanced them into my own game. And now playing in Florida with playing top competition all the time in the 7-on-7 circuit, I'm seeing the best of the best, and I get to go against the best of the best, and that's making me a better player. That now when I get to college and I see these guys, like I've been doing this my whole life. I've been doing this for many years now. So when I see top and elite talent, I'm able to match that, if not exceed above it. So I feel like just my preparation throughout high school and just crafting my game for so long with the same people and not getting bored with the fundamentals and basics been the biggest part.
I'm glad that you have a difficult time describing yourself because I've had a difficult time. I mean, I can see everything you're good at, but what I'm trying to say, like something's just a little different, man. You also have a hard time putting it into words. But when you were talking to 11 Warriors at the end of last season, one of the beat writers tweeted that you had said you're one of the best route runners in the country, which you corrected and said, I misspoke. I'm the best. Monday, in your press availability, you were interviewed and you were asked if you've been playing inside or outside. And you said, I do whatever I need to do just to make plays wherever I can help the team and show I'm one of the best wide receivers in America. The amount of confidence and the belief in yourself, where does it come from?
I think it's came in my peers. I think it's came in my peers. Definitely my peers, my reflection of my peers, just telling me like what they see and what I'm good at and the capability I had. It comes from Coach Hart putting me into that mindset that I got to come in every day and believe that. And I felt like the more of I believed in that and endorsed myself into that mindset, it came more true and true, honestly. And my family as well. My mom and my dad are my biggest supporters, but they're also my biggest critiquers as well. Like I send my dad stuff all the time, and my dad actually goes to my training sessions. So like anytime like I do a drill and he's like, "Hey, no, no, I know you can do that better. I'm gonna tell you why." And he records everything. Like my dad's always been like that. He'll record my sessions and show me every clip. And people will be looking at him like, "Why are you gonna record a whole hour session? Like he's elite. He's at Ohio State. He doesn't need that." But he's been recording my sessions since I was in sixth grade. And like I said, we never got bored with the basic and fundamentals. So if I can watch a drill, we get in the car on the way home, 40-minute drive, and I'm watching all the drills again and I'm critiquing my own game, and I got people in my corner like that. That's not just telling me, "Hey, you did amazing. You had a good day." Nah, you had a good day. You had a solid day, but this is the things you can get better at. Watch the videos. I feel like my dad's been a big supporter in that, and my mom as well. Just embracing that confidence in my mind as well. That you know I'm here for a reason and I'm doing what I'm doing for a reason as well. So my family's been a big support, Coach Hart, and then just my peers. Like my peers tell me all the time, my best friends, my people in the locker room, like, you one of them ones, man. Like you one of them ones for real. Like you got a different game, you got a different type of feeling to you, like your game is elite. Like you got an elite NFL type game and just keep enhancing and keep working and put your head down, everything will fall for itself.
I certainly see that, man. I see that talent. I saw in the YouTube videos you're there with the Monarch machine in the dark, working out, catching balls. Like you certainly got the work ethic. When we look at this wide receiver room, it's obviously loaded like it always is. You now one of the older guys, which blows my mind that the class of 2023, now the older guys. But, a lot of people talk, fans of the program. I think this guy's going to do that. This guy's going to do that. It's one of the most fun things. Heading into a new season is kind of making little predictions. Mine is Bryson Rodgers pops as a big time playmaker in 25. What do you think needs to happen from now to the season for you to get that opportunity to make that happen and to prove that you are one of the best wide receivers in the country? Are you on track?
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like I'm definitely on track. I just got to keep embracing that confidence in my coaches and my peers. I feel like in my quarterbacks and just in my head coach and Coach Hart that everything I say and I believe in, they do as well. And just keep confidence and keep putting things on film and just keep putting the work in and show that I'm dedicated to my craft. And I think if I just keep doing that, everything will fall in line for itself. I'm not chasing no numbers, no statistic goals. I just really want to just have the opportunity to display just my talent and just
Yeah.
me helping us win football games. I'm a competitor. I love to win, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes for us to win. So I mean, if that's whatever they need me to do, play outside, play slot, do whatever I need to do, then that's what it is. I'm not really of a cancer in the locker room or throwing fits because I'm not doing this or I didn't get that route or I didn't get that play. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm willing to do whatever, and I feel like the staff and the offensive staff knows my strengths and knows what I'm really good at, and I'm sure they can gonna find ways to have me run past defenders this year and route some guys up and just create a lot of separation and just give my quarterbacks a wealthy target to throw to at all times. And as long as I keep giving them that confidence and I keep giving my quarterbacks that type of trust in me, I think it's all going to play out, and I'm definitely going to be a big time playmaker this year.
There's a lot of questions about this 2025 team. Obviously, you lost a legendary group of players from last year's team, but the returning production, it's not great. But the guys coming back, you guys all have experience. You're all experienced players stepping into these roles. It's not like guys who haven't played. And when we look at the usual suspects who are at the top of college football, you guys are 101st in returning production. Texas is 105th, Oregon 107th, Georgia 109th. I like our Buckeyes odds just as much as anybody else out there. You guys obviously got a long time between now and the season to continue to grow. What's the vibe on the offense with Coach Hartline now running things? Does it maybe feel like it felt like before Chip come? Does it feel like it's evolved even more so far? How's it all feeling to you? Does it feel like you're on pace like you should be?
Oh no, yeah, I definitely feel like we're on pace, and Coach Hart's a guy like I said, he's a mastermind of football. He knows his ball. He knows a lot. He knows a really lot. He's taught me a lot. But there's a different level to calling plays, 100%. When you're calling plays and you're behind that script, the things that you dial up, I mean, it's a different magnitude of what you're doing. So I feel like a lot of us trust in him and his ability. Yes, he's gonna have times where he messes up and where he's gonna need to grow, but that's just like us on the field. We're gonna mess up. We're gonna make mistakes. So it's definitely going to be something we ought to be patient with. I feel like we give him the time and let him put in the work that he's going to make it happen. I truly feel like he can make it happen as the OC. I feel like we don't take no steps back. I think it's a step forward, and I think it's definitely something great for our offense. He's just gonna. I think he's really gonna excel at it. Once he really finds himself with it, he's gonna excel at it. And I know he feels him. Coming into a new role, he feels the pressure of have to call the plays and everything, and he's very intentional to detail. He wants to be the best he can be as a coach. So I know he ain't gonna just settle for average. He's far from an average guy and far from an average mindset. So he's going to come in. Of course, he wants to get us receivers the ball, call up some great pass plays, but he's also going to keep us balanced, keep us efficient in the run game, and just trust in what he has. Yes, we're a young offense, and yes, we're turning some different pieces on offense and defense. But I feel like all around, we trust in the guys we have in the building to make it happen, and we have the guys. Is no doubt about it. We have the talent. I'll tell you if we didn't, but we truly have the talent. We have the pieces. Got time to, like you said, we got time to put it together. Game not till August, but we're gonna put it together, and we're gonna make another legendary run.
Brian Hartline is he's a winner at everything he does. I have a hard time not having confidence that he's going to figure this out with the help that he's got around him and in the players that you guys have got. I want to play this video for you real quick. I just saw it. I'm going to pull this up right now for everybody to see. Just came out.
All right. Wow. Look at this. But this national championship, my goodness, there's multiple compartments to this thing. Jeez.
Multiple compartments, buddy. Multiple compartments. When are you getting presented with that fancy box that's going to contain your national championship ring?
It will be presented and given to us Saturday at the game. That is the plan. We get to see our ring Saturday. I know I'm very excited. Definitely a dream come true of mine, and really, really just a surreal, once in a lifetime opportunity to really go through this. But still surreal at times. Like you almost forget. It's so surreal you almost forget. But we're ecstatic for the opportunity. Can't wait to be presented. Share it with our family. Share it with the fans. Share it with Buckeye Nation. Just share it with everybody that supported us. But Saturday we live. It will be in our possession Saturday at the spring game.
That's awesome. Bryson, I'll be at the spring game. I'll be looking out for you. Hope you can pop back on sometime. We can recap the action.
Absolutely, man. Let's do it. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks so much, buddy. I appreciate you joining me today.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Yes, sir.
I told you, man, he was electric. That dude is fantastic. I hit the end button when we were done recording. I was just like, oh my gosh. Usually I'm trying to pull answers out of people, right? 10 questions with Juck usually takes 12 minutes, which I said to Bryce, look, it'd probably take 10 minutes. It took 36 or so because he just gives a lot of detailed answers and a ton of information. One of my favorite parts of that was when he was talking about walk-on Nolan Votto, how valuable walk-ons are and how this guy was like, everybody loves him. That was so cool. And you know, right there, like that is a good dude. So, and I know what you were saying, right? I know there's some of you who are going, wait a minute. We've been talking about quarterbacks all week. Juck's got the wide receiver on and doesn't ask him any questions about the quarterback. I get it. But that's because I'm going to have him on again next week after the spring game, and then we'll talk to him about the quarterbacks. So anyway, I appreciate you guys all so much. I will talk to you tomorrow night live at about 8:30 after the spring game. If you're going and you see me, I'll be in section 2 down in the front. So if you see me, make sure to holler. I'd love to see you guys there. If not, I will catch you on the live show at 8:30 or 9 tomorrow night. So appreciate y'all so much. Talk to you then. Thank you to Bryson for joining us. You're awesome. Have a good one. Juck and Bucks out.